We're recording to the cloud. Okay, now you can start the meeting.
Okay, at this time, I'll call to order the cable advisory meeting. David, will you read the statement?
I will do that. Okay, I just had it up on the screen and I lost it. All right, pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 19, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in any one place, this meeting of the Freetown Cable Advisory Committee is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort is being made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A recording of this meeting will be posted to the town's YouTube channel, youtube.com/FreetownMA, following the conclusion of this meeting. Okay, we're ready.
Okay,
I invited Bill in because I just wanted, do we want to go through where we're at this point? Because I could put that up on the screen.
well, I guess, yeah, you might. I don't think Bill really knows, does he?
I have given him all the information up to this
Oh,
point.
I got a copy on mine, the latest one, the final one you sent to me, the other day. You sent that out to James, I guess.
Yes, I did. James is actually here.
Oh, welcome, James.
Yeah, and Bill is here also. Hold on, let me see how I do that.
Is Josh around?
Josh is here also. Yep.
Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, welcome, everyone.
Yes, welcome.
It says share screen. One participant can share at a time. I know multiple participants can share simultaneously. I guess that's what I want. I don't know what I'm doing, but that's okay. Advanced sharing options. I don't think that's what I want to be doing. All right. I've done this in the past. I don't know why. Oh, there we go. We're doing something here. And I want to share cable bargaining to date. There we go. So there we go. We have that on the screen in terms of where we're at the present time. So do we want to go item by item at this point, Mike, and get Bill's feedback?
That's totally, I mean, that's totally up to you. We can certainly do that.
Do you think that, is this a fair representation of what we've discussed to date, I guess?
I'm just looking at it real quick.
All right. Oops, sorry.
Sorry.
Accidentally hit the clicker there.
Yeah, what I'm looking at seems to be pretty accurate. Sure.
I think there was also a misunderstanding about the electronic guide. When we discussed it the last time, I think you were thinking that we were talking about like a channel guide, and you said there was technical problems with that because you can't share the different channels in different towns. We were thinking more of a dedicated event and activity bulletin board that's strictly Freetown.
Well, that would be something if you wanted to make one of your channels then that would be totally your call. But
It wouldn't be the channels. It would be, for example, fire department bake sale Saturday, town meeting, annual town meeting.
yeah, no. Are you talking about just having a scrolling thing of events?
Yeah, I would go through and just pop up, the event, stay on for like 15 seconds, 30 seconds, enough time for people to actually read it, and then move on to the next item. And it's like, it usually works off of like a character generator kind of thing in some location where somebody could input that information into the character generator and it would then
yeah, that's something. I mean, realistically, that's not something we do. That's something you guys could put together on your end, and then you just whoever's operating your channels runs it, whether it's run it on the government channel from, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., and then maybe you run it again noon to 2,
You can get a dedicated channel just for that.
we don't provide a dedicated channel just for that. Some places, if they want, can use one of them to do that.
Yeah. All right. So let's get Bill, if you want to take it item by item. Any observation, insights, otherwise?
Okay, well, let's start with the first one. I don't think I can scroll this, so
I can scroll it. Just tell me when
okay.
you can scroll.
so I can see about 1 to 5 on my screen.
Yeah.
5-year contract. I suppose they'll do that, but my question to you is, do you really want that? My take on the current state of affairs in cable TV is we're going to get a better deal now than we will 5 years from now. All the trends are that the subscribership's going to go down. People are going to continue cutting the cord. If you take a look at your income in fiscal 18, your 1% was 30,000. Last year it was 29, and this year it's 28. So every year it's gone down approximately $1,000. My view is that a longer term is always better. Now,
Let me explain why we did that. The board had requested that. The Board of Selectmen had done that because they felt that that would give us time 5 years from now to review the situation and say, all right, this is working, it's not working. So,
well, yeah, I mean, if that's what they want, that's fine. Comcast offered they countered with $100,000. That's going to be cut in half.
Yeah.
You'll get 50,000 instead of 100. You'll get the 2.5%. You're going to have to start renegotiating in another 2 or 3 years again. I don't think these cable companies are getting any more generous as time goes by. I think they're getting less generous. They're feeling the crunch. Business is not great. It's declining. It's shrinking.
Okay.
I think they're going to be more generous now than they are in 5 years. But it's a selectman's call. It's a policy decision. If that's what they want, that's what they'll end up.
Well, I think we're willing to bargain on that. I guess I think if we go back and say we got a good deal, that the 10 years might be something that they're willing to agree to.
Okay. I mean, I can make a pitch to them if that would be helpful, either by email or, appearing before them or whatever. But I feel very strongly that the best, that get the best contract you can. You've got access services being provided and you want a steady stream of income, So anyway, that's the 5-year point. Cable drops, they're not going to offer them anymore. If you want cable drops, you can get them. And they'll just bill you for them, and it's not very much.
I'm pretty sure we have most of them anyway. Mike is with Comcast, just so you're aware. Mike is in the room, so that I want him to be part of the discussion if he hears something that is not correct.
Oh, hi, Mike. I thought that sounded like you. I just didn't know you're going to be here.
Yeah. Hey, Bill. Long time no talk today.
Yeah, it's our second Zoom today. All right, so senior discount, so cable drops, yeah, if you want them, you can still have them. You just have to pay for them, and it's a reasonable amount of money, and that's probably a side letter agreement, but, that's your call. Senior discount, you're still offering 10% of basic service, Mike?
It's $2 off. It's digital starter, I think it's called.
Okay, so that's the only senior discount currently being offered?
Yep.
All right. It used to be 10% of basic, but I guess not anymore.
Whatever they did, this has been the same one since I've been here. I don't know what they were before,
Okay.
but this has been pretty standard for across the board for everybody that gets the senior discount.
Okay.
Mike,
I personally feel that's not sufficient. I think.
Mike, if I got a question. Why couldn't that be structured like they do with the students, with the low-income students, and do the same thing for our senior population?
The senior population can get that.
Can get it for nothing?
No, students don't get it for nothing.
Get the internet for no charge? I'm talking about.
No, we do Internet Essentials, which is $9.95 a month.
But I have, from what I understand is that the students in low and moderate income or low income, I'm not sure what the criteria is, but I know it's, if they're on like some kind of assistance, they're offered internet at no cost.
That would be absolutely news to me, but no, we only have our Internet Essentials program, which if it's for low income, then they qualify. And that's $9.95 a month.
That's strictly internet. That's not the cable.
Correct. This one is cable.
So you're saying that seniors could be eligible for that?
Yes, we open it up for all low income families.
Okay, well, that's news to me as well, so, okay. All right, well then, I'm just gonna pass that on to the,
I can send you info on that.
I wish you would, so I could, pass it on to the senior population in town. Because that's why we're trying to be a stickler on, well, at least I am anyways, about the senior discount, because, most of them are, their social security and stuff like that, and, majority of them just can't afford this stuff,
Understandable.
Is that a 52 or 28 baud, or just that was a bad joke? For $9.95. I don't know if you remember the old days when you actually had to dial in.
Oh God,
How
no.
fast is that service for $9.95?
I don't know the exact speeds offhand without looking at it, but it's
Can you stream on it?
What's that?
Could you stream on it?
I think you can do some streaming. I mean, you couldn't do like massive gaming or something like that, but I don't think on that.
The seniors, they're big gamers.
Yeah, right, yeah.
All right, I'm just curious. I would imagine for $9.95, it's not really fast. I guess that's the point I was going to make. But it's just enough to check the internet, like to check your mail and to go do some light internet, like web surfing and things like that. That's probably sufficient for them.
Yeah, give them the essentials to be able to go on and look at the Freetown site and go on and do other, other things of information,
Yep.
Email, of course, email,
Yeah, email is critical. So, yeah, there might be seniors that would definitely be something.
Oh, I know there are.
In the basic cable, $2 off the basic cable. How much is the basic cable, Mike?
I'd have to pull up your rate card for Freetown, and I can't do this while you're streaming.
All right, okay. I didn't know whether that was just a ballpark. Any idea? You won't hold you to it.
I don't want to. I hate ballparking if I don't even know what a ballpark is.
All right, okay, no problem.
I mean, let's put it this way. I would say it's probably under $70.
Okay, yeah. So that $2 is not really making a dent.
I'll tell you what I did from the last meeting. I called up on my bill because I think we were questioning that. Maybe Mike, I don't know if you were there when we questioned about the fact that, this 2%, 2.5%. So I called up the number on my bill and asked them, where does that generate from? What line item does that come out of? And I got to tell you, I still don't have an answer because everyone I spoke to didn't know in billing.
Are you talking the franchise fee?
Yep. Everyone I spoke to said, oh, I can't answer that question, or I'm not totally sure what line item on my bill that is taken from.
Well, the line item comes, I wouldn't say there's a specific line item on the bill that it comes from. So if you go into the Freetown license, there's a definition of gross annual revenues.
Right.
And in that definition is what would affect your franchise fee.
But I guess my question is that I'm looking at my bill right now, and I'm looking here, and this is the question I posed to the person I called up on this, question about your bill is, there's a franchise fee, and then there's a franchise cost. My question was, where does that, like in my bill, it's $1.10 for the franchise fee, and I was asking, where does that come out of? Because I know it's a percentage. It's either right now it's what, 1%, right?
Yeah, so it comes,
I mean, I got
it
more.
comes out of what like what your charges are. So you have,
Well, you can't say that because I got more charges on here than who knows what. I mean, I got my package, I got my equipment, I got my one-time charges, I got my other charges, and I got my taxes and government fees, and they couldn't even answer me where did that number generate from? It's kind of sad, I thought myself, when they don't even know what they're charging.
Would it be possible, Mike, to get some written definition of where the franchise fee comes from?
it's in the franchise fee comes from what is the gross annual revenues definition in the license.
So it's gross annual.
So I'm looking at it right now. You get, so revenues are charged on.
So it's, for example, it's you guys generate X amount of dollars in revenue, and we get 1% of that.
Yeah, so correct.
Yeah, but they're charging the consumer.
So each individual, yes, will have. So they'll pay for their cable service. They'll pay for equipment.
It's a total fee. It's a total fee cost, or total bill, I should say.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that doesn't make sense either, because if it was 1% of my total bill, it'd be a hell of a lot more than $1.10.
Well, no, right, because it's not. So the gross annual revenues doesn't have everything that you're getting charged for in your bill. The gross annual revenues is what we collect on from a bill to pay to the town.
But I'm sure every bill is different.
Every bill is definitely different.
Yeah.
For sure.
So if I wanted to know where that $1.10 came from, nobody can tell me. From my bill. I mean, remember, I call up the billing department, they're looking at my bill, and I said, where does that $1.10 derive from? Is it, do I pay it from my package cost? Do I pay it from one of the other ones? I'm sure it's not equipment and services. That's different.
Equipment is included.
It's like, we don't even know where it comes from.
Mike, Bill, would you have any understanding about all of that?
I'm afraid I can't really help you, no. Other than to say that you've got two components to your bill. You've got the franchise fee and you've got the license fee.
Right.
And the franchise fee, now, my understanding of the franchise fee is that that includes the percentage of gross annual revenues, and it includes the capital passed through on a per subscriber per month basis. So,
Okay.
I mean, right now you got. Hang on just a second. My notes. Currently, your current license has 1% gross annual revenues, and you had $65,000. All right. So my understanding of that figure was that it's supposed to represent 1% of gross annual revenues on a monthly basis per subscriber. In other words, 1% of your bill, and an allocation for the $65,000 in capital that's made out over 10 years, divided into 10 years, divided into 12 months, divided by the number of subscribers. And because it was granted at the beginning of the license, it would include interest over 10 years.
And that's a franchise cost, right, Bill?
That's what I thought it was, yes. Now,
Okay.
So that 1%,
so there's also other costs in there too. And Mike, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but Comcast is allowed to add in other costs, such as the cost of maintaining the lines and the equipment and anything that's required by the license. So there may be maintenance costs in there. And Mike, my recollection is that Comcast usually uses a number, something like $6,000 to $7,000 a year for maintaining a system, depending on its size. So that's in there too. I mean, it's not, that's my understanding. And Mike, maybe I'm off a little on this. You can correct me, but that's what I thought it was.
Yeah. To be fair, Bill, that 6 to 7 grand number, I'm not sure on, but I mean, I go back to, and I look at the definition and it says, shall mean the revenues received by the licensee for the operation of cable service over the cable television system. It includes basic cable service monthly fees, all other cable service fees, installation, reconnection, downgrade, upgrade, any similar charges, interest collected on fees, charges for commercial subscriber revenues, fees paid for channels designated for commercial use, and converter, remote control, and other equipment rentals and or leases or sales. And then it goes into what it does not include.
That's just the GAR. That's just the gross annual revenues. But there's another
Correct.
component, and that's the other costs, as I understand it. And that includes an allocation for the capital and system maintenance and that sort of thing. So
Yeah, the franchise cost one that he's referring to on the bill should be the capital one.
all right, so that's solely the capital.
Yeah.
Franchise fee is solely the capital, and then what's the other one called? License fee?
Franchise fee.
No, so the franchise fee is those gross annual revenues. The franchise cost, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Bruce, but is that less?
No, it's more.
It's more.
My franchise cost on my bill is 26 cents. My franchise fee is $1.10.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The franchise cost is less.
Yes, correct. I'm sorry.
So that's your capital in there.
Right. Okay, so I can understand that, I guess. But it's just the franchise fee is, I mean, if an individual, too many times we just pick up these bills and assume that everything's correct without even knowing where it comes from. But, if I should be able to say, well, okay, so my Comcast package is $1.65, 1% of that, but that don't even calculate to that. So,
Bruce, your bill is $165? Is that?
well, that's just for my package.
Your pack, okay. And then so your because your package, we don't charge the fee on everything in that package.
Okay. I'm not sure. I don't know. Oh,
I guess, Mike,
so really, I guess I guess the bottom line that expedite this is that we don't know where that 1% is on the bill. You can't see it. They just charge you a fee, and we don't know where they get it from. Basically, we know it's a franchise fee. It's 1%, or it's going to be 2% or 2.5%. But basically, if a person looks at the bill and sees that franchise fee, we don't know where it's coming from because nobody knows where it's coming from, except for the person that does it, whoever he or she is.
I think that the reason, Mike, that we need the clarification is to determine whether your proposal, your counter proposal for 2.5% versus 2%, and the reduction of the capital from 250 to 100. In order to make a determination as to whether that's a doable deal, we need to know, how the revenue is going to flow, and is that 2%, like you had made mention of at the last meeting, essentially the same as 250,000 that we would have gotten had we gotten the 250 for our capital versus 100.
What?
We're sort of
For
trying
me, I don't look at an individual bill. I look at what we pay out, whether it's per quarter or per year to the town, which is how I determined that you would still be getting.
But the franchise fee should be a separate issue than the franchise cost. But you're telling us that that number can fluctuate related to the capital expenses that we're asking.
Yeah, the franchise cost one would go up.
Yeah, I understand that, but the franchise fee has nothing to do with the franchise cost.
Correct.
So if we're asking for $250,000, nothing, I think the last meeting you said, well, if we go up on the, we could go down on the capital and go up on the franchise fee, but those don't relate to each other.
Well, they do in a sense, and yes and no. I mean, they relate from a total financial package, to the town, and they relate in how we look, determine, what we provide or don't provide, via. And if you look at the 250,000 capital ask is very high for a town of your size. So for me, because we had some flexibility where we had a little bit of movement in the franchise fee area, you'd still be getting that level of financial income allocated differently.
But Mike, that's a separate issue.
It's not
That's
a separate issue.
That's a separate entity. I mean, the franchise fee we're getting that from the subscribers.
It's all,
But how can you relate that back to the capital, which we're getting, which I guess we're getting from Comcast, correct?
It's all.
What you're saying is that if we increase the franchise fee, then you're telling me that, well, we don't want to give you $250,000 because you're going to have an increase in your franchise fee. Well, those don't really go together because one is from one entity and the other one is from the other.
And
they
this is,
all,
And what you're saying is that, well, listen, you're going to if we increase your franchise fee and you get the customer to pay 2.5% more, then we don't really have to give you the 250,000 or the 100,000, whatever you want to negotiate.
it's all coming from the subscriber.
The franchise fee is coming from the subscriber through the franchise cost.
And so, and the capital amount is coming through the subscriber through the franchise costs.
It all gets passed through.
yeah, it's all subscriber based from what I gather. What I gather on that is basically if we increase the franchise fee to 2.5%, if we lose subscribership over the 10 years, we could end up losing money compared to what we normally have on a percentage.
Hmm.
If we have a higher capital, we'll get that money up front and it's guaranteed in a sense. But as we lose subscribership over the 10 years, that the fee will increase to the subscribers that are still currently holding cable, as opposed. So if we were looking at it before, I think it was like, what was it? I don't know if Bill said it was 30, then 29, then 28.
Right.
So that fee in itself would end up going up throughout the 10 years if we had a higher capital, but we would be guaranteed more money necessarily than if we took the 2.5% and subscribership went down drastically over the 10 years or in a exponentially or however you want to call it.
I think that's correct. I think that's probably correct. But that's one side of that's the pass-through cost to the subscriber. I wanted to take a look at the two proposals. What the town wanted, 2% and 250 in capital, and what Comcast offered, 2.5% and 100,000 in capital. And if you just stretch those out over 10 years, they come out almost the same. So for example, the 2% is about 56,000 a year, and that comes out to over 10 years, 560,000. And then you add 250 to that, the 250,000 in capital, you get $810,000 total over 10 years from both sources. Now, how it's allocated to the subscriber is a separate issue, but that's what the town would get. And if you look at Comcast's offer of 2.5% gross annual revenue each year, this is just year one now, based on the current or the most recent $28,000 income from the percents. 2.5% 2.5% would be 700,000 over 10 years. And you add to that 100,000 in capital, you're up to 800,000 over 10 years. So both of them are about the same. If you extrapolate the numbers out from year one and assume that they're going to stay the same out till year 10. Okay. So maybe the issue is just what you've been talking about. Maybe the issue is going to be not what the town gets, but what the pass-through effects are going to be on subscribers. And it is, I believe, correct to say that when you have a higher amount of capital, the $250,000, which was ours, if the number of subscribers go down, well, for either one, it doesn't matter. Either the 250 or the 100,000, if the number of subscribers continues to go down over 10 years, that pass-through cost per subscriber is going to go up because it's got to make up that number. But the 2.5% or the 2% will stay the same every year because it's just 2% of the income. So if the income goes down, it's 2% of less, but it's still 2%. So
Right.
if you're, and I'm addressing the committee here, you know, if you're trying to determine which one of those two options or alternatives, Comcast's or ours, is better, there's two ways, you know, there's two ways to look at it. One is what is likely to get the town more in 10 years if subscribers go down. And the other way to look at it is what's going to cost the subscribers more over 10 years. Now, I'm not sure which one of those or how you evaluate those, but that's how I see those two options. So I thought I'd make that point. I'm going to have to leave in about 10 minutes. I got another Zoom, but I wanted to get that in while we're still discussing the issue of the money. And
Yeah, I guess it goes back to, Mike did say that at the last meeting, that they're basically a wash. And I guess the question does become, you know, if the number of subscribers do go down, then there's a potential impact on the capital cost because fewer people will be paying more for that set amount of capital.
Right.
So, you know, that's an internal decision we have to make, and
Right.
whether or not that's the road we want to travel down.
yeah.
So
So
I guess one thing I want to bring up is, so I guess it comes down to we're evaluating how much do we need this capital versus how much do we want to affect the members of the town. And so looking at the numbers on what I was told earlier, so it's looking like we're getting at least 3% drop in subscribers per year, at least from what we were getting paid out for the franchise fee. So if you follow that drop over 10 years, I mean, we're talking about a decent drop in subscribers. So how much, I'd be interested in knowing how much over that time is the capital cost really increasing on each consumer? Because you said right now it's what, 26 cents or whatever?
Right, on mine. That's
So, I
on
mean,
mine.
So, I mean, given the more money we're requesting, but over that period of time, if we did 2% with 250, are we talking about a 70-cent increase?
Well, think of it this way, and I'm not going to be able to do all the math in my head. But if you lose 3% of subscribers every year, it's 30% after 10 years. So the number of subscribers 10 years from now is going to be 70% of what it is now. And what does that mean in terms of pass-through costs? It means that the subscribers have to make up that lost 30%. So I assume it means they pay 1.3% of what they pay now. I think that math is correct, but somebody who may be a better math student could correct me if I'm wrong. So say 1.3, 1.4%, something like that, or you know, 130, 140% of what we pay now. So if the current pass-through cost is of the franchise cost 26 cents, you know, you're looking at, I don't know, something in 30, 31, 32 cents, something like that 10 years from now. Not a big chunk of change, as all things are, you know, in the overall scheme of things, because the franchise cost is a smaller of the two.
Exactly. So in that way, we're guaranteed the capital that we're requesting. Because the other thing is that, from what I'm seeing, is we need this capital more for equipment than for long-term costs. So if we're trying to get equipment, that's upfront cost, and we need that money sooner rather than 8 years from now when we're finally recuperating some of this.
Well, to be fair too, any level of capital, we divide out over 10 years. So take the number that I offered to be 100,000 over 10. So
10,000.
Oh, okay. All right.
So you're, the percentage being increased will provide you, frankly, more income up front than the capital, I think. And again, that's without me doing, I'd have to do math on
Yeah,
that.
I think we're at a point where from our end, we really have to take a look at the numbers, and I think I can probably, talk to Bill and talk to the accountant and, see how those numbers work out with different kinds of scenarios. So I think that we're at this point, I don't think we're going to resolve it tonight. And I know that Bill has to leave. So that will be the focal point of the next discussion. Given that the remaining items are, we talked about the electronic guide. I'm not exactly sure, how we'd go about doing that. If are you saying that, Mike, that we'd have to buy the machine to generate a guide?
It wouldn't be a machine. You put content, and I'm not a government affairs guy. I'm not a content provider. So it'd be basically the equipment that you have on your, whether it's a desktop or laptop, that the access folks or whoever is handling putting out the content on your channels would be able to set that up. They might need a program or something along those lines, but that's not something that is run by us.
And we have to use an existing channel to do that.
Yes.
All right.
That's a different issue, what we talked about last meeting about, remember, I don't want to keep Mike or Bill, but that was something that this board's got to talk to either Lake Cam or Middleborough, I guess, right?
I have a quick question. Can they do something like, or just like have a regular programs going, but something on the bottom, I know they used to have it, way back in the day.
A ticker, like a ticker. I guess I call it.
Sorry, go ahead.
I would say, I would call that like a ticker.
Yeah.
If you're watching ESPN and they've got the scores or something like that. I think so, but again, that would be, a program that they would have. In a sense, it's not like a piece of equipment that we would install or you would install to do that. It'd be more of a program on your computer that allows you to do that out there. And
See, my understanding of it, and this is going back a ways from another community that I was in, we actually had a machine that was located in the fire department, and people would submit events to the person who was in charge of the machine, and that person would enter the information into the machine, and it would generate a screen that would change over on a periodic basis, 15, 30, 45 seconds, enough time to give people an opportunity to review it and then move on to and just continually cycle through the number of events that were put into the machine.
We had that before, David. Years ago, we had that option and I keep bringing up this, the studio we had in Berkeley, but that's exactly what you're talking about. And that's something I think we need to negotiate. We lost that when we lost that studio, and I think we really should be talking to Lake Cam or Middleborough about that specific issue, and also setting up a studio here to be able to do that.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons why we're looking at capital, because
Yeah.
I'd like to, number one, either rent space in Lakeville or Middleborough, but also at the FES, there's a small area on the stage that could be used for small kind of things, like meet the town administrator, not that I want that responsibility, type of, you know, monthly or weekly show, though you can discuss topics with, you know, people and what, basically what's going on in the community. And so
Those are,
we need
David.
equipment for that. And then we talked about working with the regional school in terms of re-energizing or reestablishing the studio that was over at Aponequid, that now is just basically a storage room, and just refitting that and getting the kids involved. But that, once again, that's a regional effort. We're not going to put all the money into that. I think both communities have to be committed to create. Number one, the school would need to be committed to it. Number two, I'd like to see it as a program, so we need staff where the kids could learn how to use the equipment. And number three, you know, that both communities participate in terms of contributing equally towards the use of that studio.
But that's a good goal that we should, and I think I talked about this last meeting, that's a goal that this committee should go after once these negotiations have.
Well, that's why we need the money, I guess.
Yeah.
That's sort of, Mike, that's what the issue is, you know.
Right.
We're looking at how do we best fund those kind of initiatives so that we can do local programming, potentially use it as a mechanism to teach kids that may have an interest in that, to you know, create their own content and move that part of it forward. And once again, we could also look at using Lakeham or Middleborough for the same kind of thing. It just wouldn't be at school, and it would just be us alone.
Yep, understand.
So, and the other thing, is it, this is a final thing, the HD channel, I consider that a given. I don't know if you feel that way, Mike, but I know that that's, you know, in a lot of other communities, we want our one HD channel, and we'd have to figure out which one we'd want to use for that, either education or public. And the service issues, has there been any movement towards that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, so we sent some texts out and stuff, and they were working on the nose. I actually asked for an update today. I didn't get anything yet, but they noticed some things that they could fix that would hopefully help that issue down there. So as soon as I have an update, I will let you know. But we're working on it.
Yeah, the Asona Bay Shores is critical. I guess it happens all the time. I mean, it goes out for like 5 hours and then finally comes back on. All right.
I can attest to that.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else that do we want to talk about, or do we just want to let Bill go and continue, or?
So I'm all set with Mike and Bill.
I have to drop off too, so this works out pretty good. Do we want to set a next meeting?
Yes, we should do that. Availability?
I think I'm pretty open. I'm checking right now.
Yeah, I'm out the week of 31st through Labor Day. So it would, but we're closing in on that date. So I want to keep that, you know, our eyes on.
You want to do the 9th?
The 9th would be the next date. Yeah.
Works for me.
All right. That works for everybody?
September 9th?
Sounds good.
At 5?
Do you want me, Dave, do you want me to join that?
Actually, what I'd like to do is just have, like, us have a meeting for the first half hour, and then Mike, can you join us at 5:30?
Sure.
So we can talk about what we, in terms of any, like, background that we've been able to get on the math part of this.
Yep. I can join at 5:30.
All right, so let's look at it that way.
Cool.
So Mike, you'll join us. Mike will join us at 5:30, and we'll meet at 5.
And did you want me on that too, David?
Yes.
Okay, I am clear that afternoon, so
All right.
5 o'clock.
Sounds good. All right.
Good. All right, everybody.
Sounds
Thanks,
good.
everyone.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
All right. So Bill is out. Mike is out. It's just us.
Well, David, just to try to keep informed, and bring it up to the committee is maybe on the Freetown website, we can make a announcement that we are working for service with the Zona Bay Shores, just to let them people all know that we're doing something or trying to do something.
All right, I can do that.
Just a point of information, because I mean, they won't be calling in, at least maybe if it's getting better, we'll know about it. If it's getting worse, we'll know about it as well, I would think.
Yeah. Well, Ally in my office, she actually lives in that area, and she's noticed the drop off too. So
Yeah.
it is an issue, and it's really not part of the contract negotiation, but I think it's important that as long as we have them, able to talk to them directly about a potential situation, that's the way we should handle it.
Well, I think James mentioned about the upfront money, but if we're thinking about expanding a cable committee, then the upfront money is going to be better than the 10-year end results,
That's the thing. Get that math down, because it's it could be better the first few years if subscribership is high than to get and we got to look at those numbers and to kind of make that, see what the best decision for everybody is. Like we don't want to hammer the people of the town, and at the same time we want to make sure we have enough so we can kind of expand what we need to do.
How do you suggest we handle that part of the math part, I guess? Do we want to have Kim involved and to make sure that we're using the right numbers and calculating it properly?
That might be the best thing, I guess. Just because, I can't remember from my math classes where I'm trying to, every year you go down 3% to get that number. I got to refresh on how to do all that myself.
Yeah, the present value of money and all of that.
Yeah.
Could she give us a 5-year, back 5 years, to see where we were and where we are?
I can ask her to do that.
Yeah.
So
I'm disappointed that the franchise cost and the franchise fee, I mean, Comcast is not making any, they're not giving us a damn thing,
Yeah, they're not spending their money. They're just
Right,
spending.
and I thought that, based on the whole picture, it was more on them than our subscribers,
Yeah.
I think given all the profits.
I think the big thing too is it's the capital's guaranteed money, and while the percentage is nice and it could be more, it could be substantially lower in 5 years.
Right.
Say 5 years, 5G hits, and then subscribership drops off, 10% a year or something crazy like that, or who knows,
And we're just factoring people straight cutting the cord. I mean, what about people that are dropping cable and just keeping, a basic internet package because they're streaming Netflix now? So
Yeah. I've actually, to
you
tell
have
you
to
the
build
truth,
it.
I've looked at that myself, and just in terms of my own cable. I did a trial run with Google TV, and it was a little too cumbersome for me. I'm older, so I don't, I'm technocentric, but I don't know if my wife is less so than I. So I just, in terms of getting television, I think I have to keep the basic package. But, we get Netflix, we get Prime, we get Hulu, we get, the whole ball of wax.
Do you lose a local, do you lose the local channel ability when you do
No,
that?
Google TV, no, you get all your locals.
Really?
Sling also has that same option.
Hulu
It
has some
carries
stuff
the local.
too, but I don't know if it does local.
It requires an extra step, I guess.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, to be a cord cutter, you have to be able to take that extra step. A lot of the younger people, they don't mind doing that. They view content on YouTube, they view content from different places, and they don't watch television the way that probably Bruce and I traditionally have watched it. If there's a show on at 8:00, we sit down at 8:00 and watch it, versus, saying, well, I can go on to, NBC tomorrow and watch a show that's on there, and just sort of time shift things. I have a TiVo too, and I do that, so.
I haven't done that in years, to sit down at actual broadcast time, unless it's like a football game.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. It's a different world, and for some people, the seniors probably, don't see that as a viable option, but younger people definitely, and I'm not, trying to be age biased. I'm going to be 65 in 3 months. So
The minimum package that a senior citizen is gonna be paying for the channels that they like, because I've tried it. I mean, my mother's 90 years old, and she's paying $160, $170
yeah,
a
that's,
month,
yeah.
you know? And that's,
And you don't get a lot for that.
for 3 or 4 channels that she likes, because you gotta go to the next package if you want what they
Yeah,
like.
they know what they're doing strategically.
Sure,
Too.
sure.
They know
And the
right-
rental of equipment kind of
certain
gets you.
channels,
So, all right, so if we get the numbers from Kim or David, you'll be all set with that, right?
I'll work on that, and I will have something probably the week before
That'd be
the
great.
meeting. So that's where we're at. Thank you all for joining in. James, welcome aboard.
Okay, I got a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
James, you got a second?
Second?
Okay, all in favor, by voice, Jim,
You got to have a roll call.
roll call, yeah, James,
Yeah.
Josh,
Yep.
Bruce, yes.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Hey, David, thank you very much.
Here,
Take
everybody.
care. All right. Bye-bye.